No.
No, not really. No, these cars are so loud.
What did you say?
Hello and welcome to the FIA World Rallycross Championship here in Portugal. RX is back and there's one big difference. It's gone global. The paddock is packed with familiar faces and some exciting debutants too, but it's not just the drivers who are in a fight for the title. 2014 sees the inaugural Teams Championship. Each team will be represented by 2 drivers, and this season we have 3 officially backed manufacturer teams and 6 teams overall. Driving Ford Fiesta STs for Ford Olsberg's MSE is Andreas Bakkerud and Reinis Nitish. Bakkerud was a rookie last season in the Supercars and by the end of the year was up 2 victories and down 1 pair of shoes. Nitish is the reigning Super 1600 champion, winning 6 out of 9 races. It will be a challenging transition for the young Latvian, as it was for his teammate last year. The Monster Energy World RX team is represented by Liam Doran and Krzysztof Skorupski, driving Citroën DS3s. Doran himself won twice last season, and the Monster Energy outfit bagged the most victories in 2013. Doran has pace and could be in with a shout this year.
My aspirations are to try and become the first world champion. I know we've got the speed, we proved it last year.
Fellow DS3 drivers Petter Solberg and Alexander Wahl could pose a serious threat in the title chase this year. The PSRX drivers looked sharp in pre-season testing, but as Solberg found in his inaugural season last year, you need more than just pace. The Norwegian superstar fluctuated between brilliance and calamity in 2013, but if he gets it all hooked up, nobody can touch him.
We are trying to win the championship for sure, you know, and I wouldn't have been into this sport if it was just for playing and doing some races. We are going full commitment.
VW Markland Motorsport will be hoping their VW Polos can do the business. Anton Markland will be looking to improve on his 7th place finish last term, while Topi Heikkinen could be poised to take RX by storm. The 23-year-old Finn already has championships under his belt and knows what the top step of the podium feels like. Bogdan Lupacek, Jos Janssen and Derek Tohill are all competing in the Drivers' Championship as solo entrants and not as teams. Tohill was the 2013 Touring Car champion, and the affable Irishman will want to make an immediate impact as he joins the big boys this season. 1997 F1 World Champion Jacques Villeneuve will be testing his racecraft to the limit as he lines up alongside Andy Scott for Albertech Racing. In pre-season testing, Villeneuve looked razor sharp, but let's see what he can do as the cars pile 4 abreast into the first corner.
Obviously, I want to be competitive. I want to run at the front. But there's some very experienced drivers, very fast drivers that I want to learn from.
The final driver pairing for Team Peugeot Hansen is Timmy Hansen and reigning 2-time European champion Timur Timosyanov. Hansen had a big impact in his first year racing rallycross in 2013, beating his teammate to victory in Hungary. But despite not winning a single race last year, the metronomic points machine that is Timosyanov proved consistency is everything. All drivers, no matter what their CV, reputation or talent, will have to measure themselves against the Russian if they want to be the first ever FIA World Rallycross champion.
We will see that in the end of November. Who will be the champion, who will be the winner. We can't say anything now because it's a technical sport, and the driver can do anything without car, and the car can do anything without driver.
The World Championship kicks off here in northern Portugal. It will encompass the classic RX venues of Europe and then travel long haul to Canada, return to Europe to visit France, Germany and Italy, out to Turkey, then on to the season finale in Argentina. Here's your inside guide to the track here at Portugal, presented by ION. So it's a very, very long run down the straight towards the first corner, a tight hairpin right. Big differences in the speed here, whether they're taking the Joker or the standard lap. Rise and fall of the track, it then switches from tar onto gravel, a very loose sandy gravel with a long tightening right-hander before a narrow section through the Armco and over the finish.
The start line here is very important, but it's actually the place you can actually go flat out and take the Joker lap straight away, and you can actually gain time. This will be very exciting when you're coming to the last lap, and you will meet up with the guy who actually take the Joker lap on the first lap, and the other guy took the shortest lap. You will see who wins.
Here's the surface split at Montalegre. The grey section is tar and the yellow is gravel.
When we come from the lowest part of the track over this big left-hander curb, when we land the car on the gravel, the hole will get deeper and it's a big chance for getting a puncture and also roll the car. So you need to use the head during the corner.
Heats 1 and 2 got underway under beautiful sunshine skies, huge crowds looking forward to the action getting underway. All eyes were on 1997 F1 World Champion Jacques Villeneuve on the inside down to turn 1 in his first ever race in Rallycross. It didn't go according to plan.
I overshot the first corner on the first race, so that was a mistake of mine, but then after that in the second race I had a puncture on the first lap, so not really a very useful day. The little testing I did in winter was great. It felt normal, but what we had today felt very different. So we're going back to what we know.
Andreas Backerud continued with his 2013 form. He won twice last year, and you wouldn't bet against him in the Ford Fiesta. Fast all day, as was Topi Heikkinen in the VW Polo. Proved he's got the pace to match the best in World RX. Petter Solberg was sideways and spectacular as ever, carried pace through the gravel sections. He was flying in the DS3, but nobody could match reigning European champion Timur Timosyanov, fastest in Heat 1. Heat 2 though, and it all went wrong for those two fast drivers, Timosyanov and Solberg, down to turn 1.
Timur had a very similar start, and then I pulled away down the straight, and then into the first corner I hooked in, and then he hit me because I stopped up a little bit and stuff.
The answer is that it's a racing condition, racing situation, because two cars are going side by side, and suddenly some driver doing a mistake, and then it's happened like this one. 12 cars go to the semi-final, so I need 2 very good hits tomorrow, and nobody to climb on my car, and I think it can be good.
After 2 heats then, here's how they stand. Timur Timosyanov with a clean sweep, 100 points. Andreas Backerud in second and Heikkinen in third. Petter Solberg down in 11th thanks to those problems, and Jacques Villeneuve in 15th. Andreas, good start to your World Rallycross Championship campaign.
Yeah, brilliant. You know, we was quick in both heats, and it was so exciting and so good to get out there battling again. Me and Topi had a really good fight. Obviously, I lost it a little bit, went wide over to Joker lap and back into the track again, but it was brilliant.
Where are you sitting currently overall?
So far second, so it's good. It's we are where we wanted to be in the top fighting, and yeah, we have some small tricks for tomorrow, so we will control.
Do you want to let us know what the small tricks are?
Never ever, you know, people watching the show.
What's the aim for the weekend, Andreas? Where do you want to be? I think I know, but I mean, do you have a target specifically?
Specifically target, of course everybody wants to win, so do I, but I want to be in the top and take as many points as I can, and during this weekend's championship.
Liam, tough day. Neither you or Chris made it to Heat 1. What happened?
Yeah, tough day is the only way we can explain it. It's kind of an embarrassment for the team after such a good last year and such a bad start to the first event of the year, so there's not much really I can say. It's motorsport and this sort of thing happens, and we've been testing, we had everything set, and both of us have been faster than last year, and we can only try and fix it and claw our way back. It's going to be tough because the way the championships works at the moment is you need good qualifying points, but hey, I can still try and win the event, make me feel better.
Because Chris, he made it to Heat 2, but then he retired after one lap. What happened?
Yeah, he had a problem with the gear lever actually. I think he's been trying a little bit too hard and snapped the gear lever off in his hand, which is something that none of us done yet. So again, just things we've made a lot of changes and improved the car, and that sort of thing can happen. And obviously, learning curve is quite steep. And for him, he's going really well, and it's a shame because he was leading in the second heat, and so we can do it again tomorrow.
In Heat 1, I had a real small problem with the car, but the team fixed it, and yeah, I was fast in the second heat. But Timers, you know, is still faster, but I know where I can push more.
Yeah, and you and your teammate Andreas Baccarou will most likely be next to each other in tomorrow's third heat. What will that be like?
It's not a bad start. I'm happy about him, and I think we both did a really good job. And but the main race is tomorrow. We got some points today, but we'll see tomorrow. We try to do our best.
Heat 3, race 1 was all about this man, Petter Solberg. Great start from the inside, and he needed to make amends for the disaster that was Heat 2 yesterday. He had contact with Timosyanov. Timosyanov's car clambered over the top of Solberg. In the process, it broke the throttle cable and ended Solberg's run. In typical sideways style, though, he made up for it. Nobody got anywhere near him. And he takes a very easy win in race 1. Crowds here enjoying a great day's action. They will be very disappointed, though, to learn that Jacques Villeneuve is apparently not going to start this heat race. He was late a couple of times yesterday, one because he was trying to get fuel at the very last minute. But Villeneuve then doesn't appear to be coming up into the lineup. What a shame. Jos Janssen then, Ramona Karlsson, Bogdan Lukacak, Timmy Hansen, and as we've already said, Jacques Villeneuve will not take part in this Heat 3, race 2. So Janssen on the inside, Karlsson has got some great starts as well, Ramona in the Saab. Timmy Hansen will be looking to get away clean from all these guys and get a decent heat race in, away from the line, so Lukacak has dropped a little bit. Hansen is trying to close the door. Contact there between Karlsson and Janssen on the inside, but Timmy Hansen, fantastic start, shuts the door on everyone and then just nips out. Lukacak straight into the Joker. What a good job by Hansen there, Eric.
Yeah, great start. He had some trouble with the car yesterday, so he didn't get away from the start, but now he's first, so that's what he wanted, I think.
Hopefully then for Hansen, he'll get a great time. Where was he last night? He was 11th. He was 5th in Heat 1, 14th in Heat 2. Engine misfire all day. The Hansens worked on it, didn't they? A lot overnight. It was a late night for a lot of people.
Very late, yeah. They worked very late, and now the car seems to be working, and it was really fast in warm-up too. So we saw Timmer yesterday with the other Peugeot. It was very fast, so I think Timmy will be up there today.
That was a little look at Per Eklund there. Of course, he's running Ramona Karlsson's sub. Jos Janssen's pulled over on the straight underneath that commentary position, so it looks like his race might be over. And you're looking at Ramona Karlsson, who is second at the moment, yet to Joker. Timmy Hansen, Karlsson and Janssen. Janssen pulls off, in fact, Janssen off into the paddock. So this one is between Hansen and Karlsson, and I think Hansen is just going to be eyes forward.
Yeah, I think so. It's looking really good now. The car seems to be working, so Ramona is doing a good job in second also.
She had a couple of good races yesterday, didn't she? She really held her own. You know, we know she's a fantastic rally driver. That's without doubt. The Saab is very fast, but racing's different, isn't it?
Yeah, of course she's racing with other drivers, but I think she managed to do it well yesterday. And she said that she needs to learn the car, and it's going faster and faster, so she's doing a good job.
Timmy Hansen onto the gravel section. This was one of the areas that he said he really wanted to improve on. Watch him down into the gravel. Great job by him. Last year he was trying to drive the racing line around there and he couldn't get the car turned in. This year he's going a little bit more sideways.
Yeah, he's been watching a lot of videos, I think, and preparing for this race. And now it seems he's driving like his teammate Timosyanov a little bit more, and that seems to be working very well.
Hansen Jansen then down into the Joker lap on his last lap. Carlson will be following him into there. It's a big gap, absolutely no problem. Of course, it's only him and Carlson now who are lapping anywhere near the same pace. Livacek is still heading around the circuit. He's unable to keep up with the star of last year's European Rallycross champion, Hansen, coming from single-seaters. Right up there with his teammate Timosyanov all year, and just went wrong in the last couple of rounds. It's great to see him increasing his pace on the loose stuff, looking very confident in the brand new Peugeot Hansen 2.8. Timmy Hansen takes the heat race victory. It's a 2:49.5. It's a pretty good time. Ramona Carlson sideways over the line in the Saab, takes second. And we're waiting on Livacek to come around to the finish line. Jansen retired and Villeneuve didn't turn up. Here's the result then from Heat 3, Race 2. Timmy Hansen took the win. Ramona Carlson was second. Livacek third. Jansen didn't finish. And Villeneuve didn't start. Here's how they line up for Heat 3, Race 3. Cohen Powles on the inside with Alexander Thiel, Andy Scott, Alexander Wahl and Derek Tohill. A couple of these guys had problems with the start yesterday. Interesting to see how they get off the line today. We're looking specifically at Wahl, fourth from left, and on the far right, Derek Tohill. Both struggled. Tohill, of course, new to supercars. Wahl, apparently they're struggling with fuel pressure to maintain the turbo boost. Let's see how they get away from the line this time. Anti-lag is on, sitting right behind Andy Scott, away from the line. It's a good start across three of the cars. Tohill got across really well. Tohill trying to close the door. Andy Scott going around the outside. I think Andy's going to go straight for the Joker. Tohill does as well. Thiel on the handbrake. In behind him is Powles. Andy Scott up the inside of Tohill. Contact between those two. Bullish move by Andy Scott.
Yeah, great move. It looks like Andy was a little bit too fast and Derek was just on his inside.
Fantastic job by him, really good job. So got on the brakes really late, maybe a bit too late, but still managed to hold on to it. Only a tiny bit of contact. Good job. Thiel leading from Powles. These two guys, I'm not sure will be quick enough to hold them off. Powles looks like he's shunting in the back of Thiel here.
Yeah. And Alexander is doing a good job and he's made a bad start again this day.
For fifth place is Alexander Wahl. Wahl is coming down the outside looking to see whether he can come past. So those two go straight into the normal lap. Who's that gone into the Joker lap again? I thought they looked like Andy Scott had gone into the Joker again. So Wahl then has gone past Powles. Not entirely sure. Andy Scott has jokered twice. So Andy Scott has jokered twice. I don't know why he's done that, but he disappeared off into the Joker lap. There's a problem for Andy Scott there then, whether he outbraked himself. Wahl is making his way back up through the field. Wahl's been struggling with the start, Eric, most of the weekend. And Thiel's pulled over. So Thiel has pulled over. Looks like he's going to retire. We've now got Tohill in front of Wahl and Powles. Yeah, tell us about the start.
Yeah, it looks like Alexander had the same problem as yesterday with the start. But I don't know the issue. Because the car seems to be working on the track. And he was good last year, obviously, when he was in the Hansen DS3. He didn't seem to struggle with the start, but with Peter's car, he just hasn't quite got the hang of it yet. No. I know there's a lot of grip on the start grid here. So maybe they have trouble with the launch control system or something.
Very, very hot here in Portugal. Much hotter than when we were here last year. Thiel's door is open, so it's a mechanical for him, for the looks of things. Tohill managing to hold off Wahl. This is a good drive by Tohill so far. Getting his head around supercars through the gravel section. He'll be hoping he can hold on for a heat race victory here, but Wahl, of course, was twice a winner last year. Wahl is on the gas really early. There's having a look around the outside. Wahl is on the right racing line. Can he get the car turned in and get on the gas earlier on the exit? He's going to carry more speed through, but Tohill's blocked him nicely.
Yeah, very nice move. It's very difficult to overtake. I think the best point is the first corner, so now I think Alexander will have a problem in this tight section.
So Wahl then bottled up behind Tohill. Looked like that might have been contact between the two. He's got his nose up the inside. Wahl has got his nose up the inside. He pushes Tohill wide. What a move, just when we were saying it's going to be really difficult. Wahl manages to get one past. He's sweeping through the last couple of corners into the Armco section now, right at the death of the race. Wahl crosses the line, takes it from Tohill. Third place is Powles, right with them. And Andy Scott crossing the line in fourth. Andy with 2 Joker laps, and we're not quite sure why. There's Alexander Thiel out of the car, and he'll be disappointed. Here's the result of Heat 3, Race 3. Alexander Wahl with a win right at the death. Derek Tohill in second, Koen Pauwels in third, Andy Scott fourth, and Tulle with that DNF. So Molly is with Alexander Wahl's team. So it looks like at the minute they're just having a little chat on their own radio. Here's Molly.
That was an incredible race. Have you been able to breathe through that?
No, not actually that. It was very good of Alex. Was a little bit trouble in the start there, but he did an incredible race, and we're very happy about that. Yes. Okay.
Here's another look at the start. So looking around the outside of the Joker lap, you can see that Andy Scott and Derek Tohill went through there, and Scott really forced his way through. There was also contact a little bit between Pauwels and Tulle there, pulling off to the side of the track. He retired. But then great job by Tohill holding off Wahl for as long as he could, but Wahl forced his way through, Eric.
Yeah, great move. Derek opens up a little gap, and Wahl is right there.
He used all the curb as well, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, it was the tiniest gap on the track, but almost a full car width on the curb, and Wahl just went for it.
Yeah, and the curbs are very big, so it's a difficult corner. So maybe Derek just opened up a little bit, and then Alex took the spot.
This is the fast one then. Heat 3, race 4. He's won both the heats so far. Timo Timozianov on the inside, Ranis Nitish, Anton Markland, Tuomas Heikkinen, Topi, and Andreas Bakkerud. This is going to be fantastic. We've got two sets of teammates, and the current standings leader on the inside. Looked like a great start from Timozianov, but down the outside, Bakkerud. He did it all last year, and he's done it again. Is he going to come across all the way to the inside? Bakkerud with a fantastic start, goes to the Joker. Both the Polos have gone with him. Timozianov and Nitish have gone for the standard lap. These three guys bottled up together. That was a fantastic start from Bakkerud, but he chose to go to the Joker straight away, Eric.
Yeah, I think it's because it's on the outside. You know, there's no way he can get in because there's cars on the inside. Even if he's first, maybe there will be some contact. So I think it was a good choice to go on the Joker lap. And
another lightning start from Bakkerud. What's his secret, do you think? Because last year he killed it at the start every single time.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of gambling.
On the lights, yeah, so we might see some jump starts as well. Timozianov crosses the line in the lead. We're on board with Heikkinen at the back of the train. In front of him is his teammate Markland. You're seeing now Timozianov down at the hairpin. Behind him, Ranis Nitish stepping up from Super 1600. On board with Timozianov, checking the mirrors, pulling on the gears. Look how short the cars are geared. He's had his box changed overnight, Eric, as well.
Yeah, he made some changes to the gearing from yesterday, and it seems to be working very well. He took the start today also.
Not as much steering input from Timozianov as we saw from Solberg.
No. The Timur is also very clean driver, smooth lines all the time.
And just as fast. Two different driving styles working out the same way. Timozianov crosses the line, Nitish is still right behind him. These two guys still to Joker. Where's Bakkerud? Bakkerud has disappeared. Bakkerud has stopped down at the far end of the circuit, it seems. There's Bakkerud down in the hairpin. So Bakkerud has stopped. The two VW Markland Polos have got past. So this is now between Timozianov and Nitish. Nitish has just done the Joker and got back out in front of Heikkinen and Markland. Good job by him.
Good job, good job. Yeah, he comes from, had a good year in Super 1600 and he's fast straight away here, so very good.
Up and over the curbs, we're on board with Heikkinen. Look at this view of Nitish in front. This is roughly the area. Wahl, of course, managed to get up the inside by using the whole of that curb. It's dangerous, Eric, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit dangerous to go on the curb, but it's basically one line in the gravel because they put away the gravel, so it's very difficult.
There's back on the inside, double weight fellas down the hairpin. That's going to mean no one can pass down there. Round the Joker lap goes Timozianov. He's going to slot back in. Is he going to be in the lead or not? Pops it up over the curb, and he is. Timozianov with a decent lead over Nitish. Heikkinen and Markland behind him, so at some point Heikkinen has managed to pass Markland as well. It seems on board with Timo. Up and over the curbs. This was where we nearly saw him roll it last year. Fantastic drive from Timo. Do you think he's going to be able to better Petter's time?
Yeah, I think so. He had a very clean run here, and this is where he's best when he's in the lead.
Timozianov up towards the finish line, on the gas, over the line. Nitish follows him. The two Markland Polos are right on it as well. Timosyanov's time, 2:46.7. He's going to slot in behind Solberg. So it's a heat win then for Solberg overall. Great job by him, but a good job by Timosyanov as well.
Yeah, very good race.
Timosyanov then takes the heat race victory. Reinis Nitish in second, Heikkinen in third, Markland is fourth, and Bakkerud with a DNF. Let's have a chat with Molly. She's up in the spotters tower.
It's a great win for Timmy and also now for Timo. You must be so pleased.
Yeah, we are pleased, and it's work. The cars are working. I mean, we had very little testing, but we are very pleased to be here, and then it is working well. But I think we need to speed up a little also because Peter was faster, so we need to, yeah, turn on a little.
Here's another look at the action then from that race. Fantastic start by everybody, as you would expect, with the top guys. Bakkerud down into the Joker lap with the two Markland Polos behind him. Markland, in fact, got the jump on Toppy coming out of the Joker. Bakkerud we didn't see stop down the hairpin, and that's where the Polos changed position. Bakkerud ended up down stopped in the hairpin, but a wonderful drive by Timosyanov, Eric.
Yeah, great drive. It's a shame for Bakkerud. I think he could have given him a fight here for the victory.
Hopefully Bakkerud will make it through with two decent results yesterday. One DNF should be okay if he gets a good result in Heat 4. Having a look. Here's how they stand then after Heat 3. Timosyanov is at the top of the table. Nitish very, very impressive indeed. Toppy Heikkinen, Peter Solberg with a Heat win there, fastest overall, in fourth after Heat 3. The first ever World RX is taking place here in Portugal. The track is situated in the far north of the country, in the town of Montalegre. Dating back almost 4,000 years, the town boasts some stunning architecture with strong Celtic and Roman roots. Before this weekend's racing got underway, the Rallycross drivers put on a display in town and took the opportunity to meet the enthusiastic local fans.
We are in the mountains, town of Montalegre, with all these old houses and this amazing castle. I mean, it's really amazing to just go here and see in the town and then to race here. It's amazing.
Montalegre is a really good place for Rallycross. It's a beautiful town. A lot of really good people surround you, and they can help you a lot.
As the excitement built in the town, everybody was getting into the spirit.
Yeah, I can definitely feel it, both in the racers, in the drivers, the teams, and also the local people coming and visiting us already today. I start to really be in the race mode, and I think the other guys is starting to be there as well.
With a long season ahead, what are the drivers' targets for the year?
My target is learn as much as possible and as fast as possible. For sure, I will do my best.
I'm definitely here to win, and I know all the other guys as well. Of course, right now we want to go for the victory.
Jack, the question we all want the answer to, why didn't you start Heat 3?
There was a little water leak, so just couldn't get on the track. It's very simple. It's frustrating because we changed the car overnight and it felt a lot better in warm-up, so we were looking forward to fighting to get in the semi-final. So, but now I think we can throw the weekend in the garbage.
Well, you're 17th overall now. You can fight back.
No, because we're too many points far back. Right now we got 0 points for that did not start, so that catches us out. So that's, yeah, might as well have stayed in Indianapolis.
Liam, back on track, 7th fastest in Heat 3. Are you pleased?
Not at all. Not at all. Car can be the fastest car here, to be honest, and yeah, it's not good enough. I got held up a lot in the race. I made a bad mistake joking the first lap and got held up by a local guy here, but it is what it is. You know, at least we finished. At least the car got around the track and we got a time, but it's not going to be enough to get us into the finals. I needed to get a top 3 time, which I think I could have done, but it's not good enough now.
So for the 4th heat, going for the best time?
Yeah, may as well go out there and make up the numbers, eh?
Timmy, some car problems yesterday. Your team has worked so hard. It resulted in a race finish today and 5th fastest time. Are you happy?
Yeah, the guys did a great job. I mean, it wasn't easy to find the issue that we had yesterday. we could still finish and we could make the best of the situation yesterday. And tonight they did a fantastic job, and today the car feels amazing.
So what was the issue yesterday?
It was an electronic setup failure. So I tried so many different things to find where the problem is. But yeah, it was not an easy job, but they did it last night, and now we're back on the pace.
You're 8th overall now. What's the plan for Heat 4?
I want to improve even more. I was 5th last heat, but I want more.
Alexander Vol, new team, new car, new championship. How's it all working out for you?
We had some problems in the start of this event with I'm always stalling on the start line, but the car is working perfectly out on the track, so we get small details right, and I think we will be really fast.
In Heat 3 you did have a stall in the start and you had an amazing comeback. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the car again stalled on the start, you know, and I was absolutely last. I passed everyone and passed the last car in the second last corner and won the heat. And yes, like I said, the car is running great out on the track, so it's small details that make it a little difficult for us.
So overall, how are you standing now after Heat 3?
I think I'm 6th overall now. I try to improve that in the 4th heat and get the start program working. And when I get off the start line, I will be fast.
Time then for Heat 4. Crunch time for everyone. Got to get into the top 12 if you want to make it to the semi-finals. Here's race 1 for Heat 4. Andreas Bakkerud, Alexander Thiel, Jos Janssen and Villeneuve, but Thiel hasn't turned up to the grid. Bakkerud on the inside here. Lightning start last time out, but contact down at turn 1 in the middle of the race meant that he broke his suspension, we think. So he'll be looking for a decent result here. At the minute, he's in 9th in the classification, so he should make it through anyway. Andy Scott is sitting in 10th. We're on board with Villeneuve. Sorry, it's Villeneuve, my mistake. Too busy looking at result sheets and trying to figure out where everyone is. Villeneuve, I'm not sure, can make it through either way to the semi-finals, but heads down and around the outside of turn 1. Bakkerud with a great start, Janssen stops him behind. Sensible move from Villeneuve, Eric?
Yeah, I think so. There are only 3 cars on the track now, so everybody should get a clean run with less traffic. So basically it's a good advantage with only 3 cars.
Now Villeneuve is currently down in 17th. You're looking at Bakkerud leading the race, and I'm not sure whether Villeneuve can really make it through, but it's important that he gets some seat top. Oh, Janssen! Janssen with a big slide out, almost into the Armco. I think he did tap the Armco. Just about kept it in control. Villeneuve now right up behind him. But yeah, Villeneuve needs car time, Eric.
Yeah, of course. You know, he's driving good and he's driving like a circuit racing, normal driving, but it needs to be a little bit more aggressive, I think.
So Villeneuve with very, very textbook driving, as you said, in practice, he hits the same mark every single time, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course. You can see that he's a really good driver, but Rallycross is a bit different. Some places you need to attack.
Oh, 2 wheels for Villeneuve, taps in the side of Janssen. 2 wheels again, he used all the curve this time. He's going to come around the outside of Janssen. Janssen on the inside, Villeneuve stuck right behind him. Really close to tipping it over. He clipped the curves right in front of the commentary position. We were on board with him.
Yeah, it seems like Janssen is struggling a little bit there. But Villeneuve can't get past.
F1 world champion up right behind him. I think I'd be struggling if I was looking in my mirrors and seeing Villeneuve there, so he's going to have to try and make a move. Janssen hasn't done his joke yet, Villeneuve has. Janssen hopefully will take his joker for Jack, and he is. So around the outside, Villeneuve is now free. Great to see some aggressive driving from Jack though.
Yeah, of course he's improving. You know, as we said, it's seat time, and it will get faster and faster.
Different discipline, it's just such a different discipline, isn't it? You know, the circuit, the accuracy, but more curb, more gravel.
Yeah, and it's what's special about Rallycross. You never know, and the track changes and the tarmac and dirt, so yeah. But he will get used to it.
He certainly will. He's very excited about it. On board with him now. Look how wide his eyes are. All over the pedals. Bakkerud around the outside of the joker lap. Villeneuve is only just coming onto the straight, so Bakkerud's going to have no problem here. This has also been a lovely, clean, clear heat for Bakkerud. So he might fly here on the limit. They had 3 minutes to go. We were stood in the Ford Osberg's MSC pit, and they were working desperately on this car to get it out.
It's a perfect comeback after the trouble in the 3rd heat. Now we have a completely clean run, and he can just go as fast as he wants.
So Bakkerud then with just a couple of turns to go, bit of understeer through the final hairpin. Left and right flick. You can see his fingers working away on the wheel through the front of the screen, over the curbs, over the line. Baccarat takes the heat race victory. It's a 2:46.5. That's a fantastic drive. Villeneuve, second place, on board with him. Hopefully he'll be satisfied with that. And Janssen in third after that clash with the F1 star. So sweeping around off the track, you can see Baccarat pulled over there, on board with Villeneuve. He's got to make his way back up through the paddock. And Molly is down with Andreas Baccarat now.
Great time, 2:46.5. Are you happy?
No, not yet. I want to win this shit, you know. I'm in a good flow, and I did silly mistakes, but we're in it now, and we should be in a good position in the semi. You know, rough, hard fight in the last heat with Markland, and I will take him back. You know, I will take him back.
That is an outrageous time from Baccarat. Apologies for the language. Very excited, obviously. Andreas Baccarat, the winner of Heat 4, Race 1. Jack Villeneuve, second. Jos Janssen and Alexander Tull with a did not start. On board again with Villeneuve, making his way up through the paddock. Steering wheel off, so he's back in his garage. He's just going to take his net off the door and climb out. Here's a replay then. On board with Villeneuve, pulling gears in the Albatech 208. This was the move on Janssen, right up on two wheels. That's literally opposite where we're stood. He tried to come around the outside, and Janssen had the inside line. It was a good clash between the two, very aggressive, lots of curb. Of course, Villeneuve actually managed to get him when Janssen took his joke lap. Baccarat, though, that's the fastest time of the weekend so far, so an outrageous heat time from him. No trouble, he takes the victory. Lining up for Heat 4, Race 2, Con Pauls, Andy Scott, Joachim Santos, Krzysztof Skorupski and Bogdan Lupicak. Andy Scott on the line. We had a chat with him in between the two heats. He was disappointed not to be able to get Villeneuve's car out. Villeneuve had had a water leak apparently. Been out for practice this morning, everything was fine. Up behind the cars now. Anti-lag on. The marshal walks across to check that they're good to go. Lights out, the cars are released from the line. It's four abreast down towards the first turn. On the inside, Pauls looks as though he's got the whole shot into the first turn. Around the outside, Skorupski has gone straight for the joker lap, and so has Santos. Andy Scott with a little tap on the back of Pauls there, I think, in the first turn. Tyre smoking from Santos. No, it's tyre smoking from Skorupski. So Skorupski's got a tyre rubbing. Maybe a bit of contact. Eric, what do you think?
Yeah, maybe had a little push in the rear.
Down in the joker lap or in the bundle for the first turn?
Probably in the joker lap. So hopefully it will not cut the tyre.
So a bit of smoke. Either the bodywork or the tyre will wear away. Pauls leads this one. Scott's behind him. Skorupski is already closing up on him. And he's been through the joker already, so Skorupski is making up an enormous amount of time on these guys. Santos has dropped back, and Lupicak as well. Andy Scott heads down into the joker lap. Spoke to Andy as well, didn't we, about 2 joker laps, and he made a mistake.
Yeah, you brake too late in the first corner, and then you, of course, it's a good thing because you can take the joker lap. You have a road to go.
Rather than going off into the gravel trap, yeah. He was cross with himself, though, wasn't he? It was a schoolboy error. Bumping up over those big curves onto the gravel section. Albatech Racing in their second season. Of course, everybody desperate to make it through to the semi-finals. Top 12 only through. Pauls and Skorupski across the line. Only Pauls now to joker, and I think when he does joker, Skorupski will get through. There's still smoke coming from Skorupski's car, and Pauls has decided he's going to joker on the last lap. What do you think, Gary? Is Skorupski near enough? It looked like he slowed on the exit of the hairpin.
Yeah, it looks like he has some trouble in the exit there. I think Pauls has enough lead now to do the joker.
So Skorupski, whenever the car is leaning into a left-hand corner and it leans on the right-hand side, the smoke is pouring off the car. Fantastic shot from behind there, and the car's popping over the crest. Gives you a good idea of the amount of drop and fall there is on this circuit. Pauls with 1 lap to go. He has to joker on this lap. Remember, they have to do 1 joker lap on the 4. He's now got a pretty significant lead over Skorupski. Skorupski past the start-finish line now. Andy Scott's door is open. Andy Scott's just passed us in the commentary position with his door open. He's holding on to it. Pauls through the joker lap. Skorupski's feeding back in. I think Pauls has lost this. Skorupski gets him on the joker lap. He now leads the heat. Pauls drops into second place. Andy Scott is in third with his door open as he came down the straight, and he is with his door open now in the 208 opposite where we are. Here's Skorupski. Drama then, all the way through heat 4 so far, and Andy Scott's pulled over on the dirt section. Away from your pictures now, Andy Scott is opposite us. Skorupski is going to take this one with Powell's in behind him, but a problem for Andy Scott. Over the line for Skorupski. He takes the heat race victory behind him. Powell's. Andy Scott's car looks like it might be on fire. There it is on the far side of the circuit. We can see why he had the door open. I'm guessing the car was filling up with smoke, Eric, and he's opened the door to try and get some air.
Yeah, probably. You can see there's no fire, but something is definitely not right.
That's not a good looking car, is it? When your car looks like that, you know you've got a problem.
Yeah.
So you can see the start-finish line in the background there is Andy Scott. The fire extinguishers are ready. They'll want to put this fire out as quickly as they can. The car is full of smoke. The car is absolutely full of smoke. I thought the door latch must have gone when he came past us. Here is the result then. Krzysztof Skorupski takes the heat race victory. Powell's in second. Santos in third. Lupacek is fourth, and Andy Scott with a DNF. And Molly is down now with our heat race winner, Skorupski.
Chris, you took back the race at the last lap. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. We had a lot of problems with the technical with the car, now it's working well. So I'm quite happy. I still made quite many mistakes. It's my first time in this car and I'm really happy to be here.
Here's a look at all the drama from Heat 4 Race 2. A little bit of contact between Powell's and Scott in the first corner. There was Skorupski with the rear wheel smoking. Lasted the race, Eric.
Yeah, I think Powell's had a very good run, but look, it looks like he lost some power in the Joker section.
Either that or almost it looked like it wasn't turning in, didn't it? So Powell's dropped the time.
Had a very slow last lap, but it looked good up to then.
You can see how much the track's cutting up this morning. The groove was very much dug last night and they filled the dirt back in. Skorupski crosses the line with Powell's in second.
Andy, please fill us in what's happened. I'm looking at your car and it's not looking good.
No, it really isn't. It's a shame. We were, after a bad start to the weekend, we were finally pulling it together with a semi-final place, but unfortunately on the last lap, I'm not exactly sure the cause of the fire yet, but it's around the turbo area. Car caught fire, so I had no choice but to pull over and bail out as quick as possible. So although we have still qualified for the semis, we're not going to be taking part.
How does it feel to be a driver inside a burning car?
Yeah, it's not a good experience, not one I'd recommend. Yeah, obviously all that comes through your head is get the power turned off and get out of the car as quick as possible. So I didn't realise I was as fast at moving.
How has Jack's weekend been?
Yeah, Jack's not had a lot of luck either. I mean, it's you know, we've had very little preparation for the weekend, one way or another, with things turning up late. So yeah, it's been a baptism of fire for Jack. I'm sure he's enjoyed it, but we've not seen his potential yet.
And then a great comeback in Heat 4, winning your race, now looking on to the semi-final.
Yeah, I feel, you know, after the crash in the third heat, I need to calm down and, you know, be sharp again. And yeah, you never know what happens, but still we went out there, eat the guys for breakfast in the start again, and kept on going. We didn't have the anti-roll bar on the car, so it was a bit soft. Because the mechanic did a brilliant job fixing it. So no, I'm really happy. We're up in there and again and can fight.
So, Chris, so you've taken the step up to supercars this season. How do you feel it's going so far?
It's great. Of course, we had some problems, but on the beginning of the season, it's quite often that something with the cars is broken. But I had quite good time today. I really enjoyed driving these cars. It's really fast. And we're getting faster and faster. The team made really great cars, but we still have to work on it, and I'm sure we'll be a really fast team.
Yeah, because for the team's sake, you've taken the bottom two places this weekend, so not a great weekend for the Monster team. How will you fight back?
Yeah, it was not a good weekend for us, especially yesterday. We didn't finish any of the hits, so today we were fighting quite much, but I had also the problem in the third hit. Liam had problem in the forefeet, so not lucky, but you know, we don't care. We're still doing our job. We've got some information after that race we can use to improve the cars, so that's okay.
Looking forward to the next race then?
Yeah, sure. England, here we come.
Já preparados para o arranque que vai fazer mais longo do Paulo. Liderará desses favoritos no teste da mostra, Alexander Val, o comitê da face da última volta, poder ainda tentar um ataque face a Tom Martin, mas que belíssima troca do brasileiro a classificar-se para as meias finais foi Andy Scott no Peugeot 200. Uma categoria júnior.
Anton, way to keep Vol behind you, brilliant.
Yeah, it was tight out of the yoker lap, but I thought that I had the speed that I could use to pass him on the straight, even if he was going side by side. But he was going out just behind me, and it was so tight, but it's really good.
Ready for the semi-final now?
Yeah, I hope so.
Hansen drops into second place. Timosjanov is third. Nitish and Heikkinen has been done right to the back.
Yeah, we see Hansen. He took the joker lap on the right on the first lap, and I think he gained some seconds on that.
Fantastic job by Timmy Hansen. Suffered yesterday with a misfire, which affected his performance, but he's proved he's on the same game as his teammate Timosjanov, who was absolutely faultless yesterday. But it's Petter Solberg who takes the heat race victory over the line behind him. Hansen, Timosjanov, Nitish and Heikkinen. Fantastic, fantastic end to Heat 4. Here is the result. Petter Solberg takes it from Timmy Hansen, Timosjanov, Reinis Nitish and Topi Heikkinen. Wonderful, wonderful action all the way through Heat 4. Molly is down at the finish with the winner, Petter Solberg.
Petter, you had a great start. You led from start to finish. The crowd is going crazy when you come in. How do you feel?
Fantastic. I was very nervous before the start, and obviously it broke down on the start line the first straight away. So I thought no, and then I got it into a really good attack after that, and tried to not do a mistake at all. But it was very good. I'm very happy. So I can go much faster, but now it's World Championships. You have to be careful.
Great job, Petter Solberg. Here's a replay of the start. Those three went together, and Hansen Erik did the right thing, went for that joker.
Yeah, of course. When it's on the outside, it's no idea to go on the inside there and battle it out. It's just better to go on the joker.
Nitish followed Timosjanov in front of him. Hansen managed to slot out after the joker lap, which I think we're going to see very shortly. Solberg through the gravel section. Behind him, Timosjanov, everybody monstering the curbs. The further through the heats we've got, the more aggressive these drivers have become in their use of the track. Watch this. Solberg out the joker first. Hansen slots in. Heikkinen, who was only a few car lengths behind him, drops to the back of the field. Fantastic race. Here's how they stand then after all the heats. Heat 4 finished. Timosjanov is at the top of the table with Petter Solberg second. Nittis, Heikkinen, Markland, Hansen and Bakkerud, all the stars of World RX go through, and a great job by Cohen Powles to make it through in 8th. Alexander Farland, Ramona Carlson, Derek Tohill and Andy Scott should all make the semi-finals. Scott, of course, with the fire in that last heat. We'll have to see what happens to him. And unfortunately this weekend, no semi-finals for Villeneuve, Skorupski or Doran.
Timo, are you pleased now after Heat 4?
Yeah, it's the Heat 4 was great for me. I was learning some tactic and some lines for the different drivers, and now we know where we're losing for the good guys, and I think we will try to fix that for the semi-final and final.
And Timmy, 6th place in the semi-final now, or after Heat 4. How are you pleased with that?
I'm really pleased, actually. The day yesterday started so difficult, but the guys managed to fix the problem, and now I almost beat Petter. It was a driving mistake that made me drop behind. But we have a great car, and from 3rd in the semi, I think we can do really well.
And the car obviously is doing really well. You've got one car in 1st place into the semi-final and one car in 6th place. You must be so pleased.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for the team. Timo just told me that we're currently leading the team championship with 2 points, so that's a good start, but long season ahead.
If I'm good in mathematics, but maybe not.
Yeah.
And Timo, you're also taking with you 16 points out of the Heat 4.
Yeah, that is a good start for me, and we know so that we need to finish on the last heat, but still I try to fight with Petter to push him to that we are in the back, and yeah, I do some mistakes and Timmy catch my point, catch my place, and I think push him on the back on the last corner, on the last lap, like just to show that we are on the mirrors.
So in other words, Petter will be your hardest competitor, maybe in the final?
Yeah, for this race is this track is done for Petter, I think, and it's difficult to fight with him here, and but still we can do that.
There are the cars lined up in the pre-grid for the 2 semis. 12 going through, of course. All the odd numbers go through to one of the semi-finals, and all the even numbers go through to the other. Most of the superstars have made it through. We've had some surprises through the weekend, but we're very, very much looking forward to seeing who's going to come out on top and win the first ever round of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Pressure building for the drivers, as will the temperature be in those cars. Must be high 20s here. You see there's people in the crowd with not much on, and the drivers are sitting in the cars with their fireproofs on. A layer of effectively thermal underwear. It's fireproof underwear. It's like wearing ski thermals. Imagine wearing ski thermals and then a duffel coat over the top, sink yourself in a car with no air conditioning, 26 degrees. You can see the heat rising up off the track. That gives you some idea of what these guys are going through as they prepare for the first semi-finals of 2014. Top 3 will be going through from each of the semi-finals to the final, and then those 6 fighting it out for the victory here in Portugal. Well, hello and welcome to Portugal. Montalegre for round 1 of the World Rallycross Championship. Cars are on the grid. We're waiting for the semi-final action and looking forward to getting things underway. Let's have a look at where we're going this year then. Portugal for round 1, 12 rounds through the season. Some of the classics of Europe after this. We head out to Canada, back to Europe again, and then Turkey and Argentina towards the end of the season. This is what's happened so far baptism of fire for Jacques Villeneuve. First ever corner in rallycross, he ran wide and ended up going all the way through the gravel trap. This was the Peugeot. Hansen's off the line with them Peter Solberg. Solberg sideways in the first corner. Timosyanov crashed into Solberg. That was investigated. Timosyanov was disqualified and then reinstated. Solberg, it didn't quite work out for him. The Russian was looking absolutely fantastic in the brand new Peugeot Hansen 208. Faultless pretty much all weekend. These were the standings then after Heat 2. Timosyanov with a maximum 100 points. Remember, the points are the other way around this year. 50 points for a Heat victory, fastest overall. Down to 12th, and that sees you through to the finals. This then was Solberg, absolutely flying after he broke the car in that contact with Timosyanov. He made up for that with a flat-out Heat. Hansen also recovered from his misfire on day one. No problems to date, and he's been back up to the pace that we're used to seeing him from. Have a look here, Alexander Wahl, the car at the back of the grid. Absolutely dreadful start. Fought his way all the way back through a fantastic pass on Derek Tohill. Very, very forceful, used every inch of the road and the curbs as well. Down at turn one, that was the contact between Markland and Bakkerud. Bakkerud retired. Lucky he'd had a couple of good results. And in Heat 4, another fantastic result. A very, very easy win for him in his Heat race. Andy Scott, not so lucky. A fire. He's made it through to the semis, but we're not sure whether or not we're going to see him. This was a battle between Markland and Wahl. Very, very close indeed between those two as they exited the Joker lap. And the final race of Heat 4. Timmy Hansen went to the Joker lap on lap 1 and left Solberg, Timosyanov and Nitish to battle it out. This was the end of the race when they slotted around their Joker lap. Solberg came out in first. In fact, he was fastest in the heat. Hansen came through to finish second. Great tactics by him. Here are the standings after 4. Timosyanov, Solberg, Nitish, Heikkinen, Markland, Hansen, Bakkerud, and a great drive by Cohen Powles to make it through in 8th place. Of course, it's the top 12 who go through, so here's the final 4. Alexander Wahl, Ramona Carlson, Derek Tohill and Andy Scott are the semi-final lineup. My name is Andrew Coley, and alongside me this weekend is Eric Fahren, who was a Super 1600 driver last year in Rallycross RX, and this year he's going to be driving a supercar at Lydden Hill and hoping to do some more events later on in the season. Eric, how are these guys feeling now, getting ready on the pre-grid and getting themselves lined up for the semi-finals?
Yeah, I think they're probably a bit nervous. For me, the semi-final was the hardest thing, because you just want to get to the final, but you still need to be fast, and it's a lot of tactics, but yeah, it's difficult, but...
How do they approach it? They know they've got 6 laps coming up. Of course, the crucial thing here is they've got to go top 3. You know, is it really aggressive? You've still got the final to come.
Yeah, it's aggressive, but it's all about tactics. You know, it's just to get to the final. That's the main goal.
Timosyanov is sitting there waiting to go. He was the top qualifier. Here's a look at the full grid for you for semi-final number 1. Timosyanov and Reinis Nitish. Great debut for Nitish, Super 1600 champion last year. Row 2, Anton Markland, much quicker this year than last and more confidence. Andreas Bakkerud, even with that problem, makes it through to 4th on the grid. And at the back, Alexander Wahl and Derek Tohill. Both have struggled with their starts this weekend. They'll need a good one to come forward from the back of the grid. So the last couple of cars lining up. You can see the marshals there. The stick that they're holding down in front of the car, that's for the jump start. They have about 12 centimetres between where they sit and the jump start. So if you gamble on the lights, you've got about 12 centimetres of play before you trigger the jump start. Timosyanov has been good this weekend. The fastest starter of them all has been Bakkerud. We saw that a lot last year. Timosyanov with his hand up on the sequential gear lever. I imagine that is already clunked into place. They've got various switches to hit to get all the anti-lag underway. They're doing it now. You can hear the noise. This is it. It's first semi-final of the World Rallycross Championship. Who's going to get a decent run down? Wahl's been left on the line again. He's had problems with the start all weekend. Nitish looks like he's just ahead of Timosyanov. I wonder where they're going to go. Nitish goes straight on. And Bakkerud's gone straight on as well. They said yesterday they wouldn't take the Joker lap together, Eric. Do you think that Bakkerud was forced into that?
Yeah, maybe, because when they're side by side, it's very difficult.
Markland has managed to make a move. Markland up on two wheels. Markland managed to get past Timosyanov, it seems, in the very first corner while we were looking back at the Joker. Markland so improved over last year. The car's better. He runs a little bit wide. Timosyanov's going to put him under pressure. What do you do if you're Timmer? Do you try and pass 6 laps, of course?
Yeah, of course. But it's all about tactics now. You know, we need to get to the final, so I don't think he will push maximum. We'll just follow him and try to overtake him on the Joker lap.
Anton Markland will be absolutely desperate to make it through to the final as well. All last year it was his aim, and he never quite made it through to the finals. He did the semis and somehow he just bottled it in the semi-finals, never quite made it through. At the minute, it's looking like Markland is going to. Nitish, Baccarat, Tohill and Val have all jokered already, so it's just these front two who've got to do so. I'm wondering if Hansen might tell Timosyanov to go if they feel he's being held up. Otherwise, he's in danger of slotting out in this train of cars, Eric.
Yeah, of course. It's a bit of gambling if he goes to the Joker lap too early, because then maybe he will get back in just in the pack somewhere.
But if he leaves it too late and they're catching up, what do you do? I mean, look how close they are behind already. So, I mean, Markland, Timosyanov, Nitish is closing the gap with Baccarat. Those two guys aren't going to take each other off. Markland goes defensive on the brakes. They're losing time.
Yeah, both of them are losing time right now, so.
Timosyanov up the inside. Markland got sideways. Timosyanov's alongside him almost. And he manages to hold it. They're coming around. Val's going slowly just in front of them, just off to the side. You can see they're on board from Timosyanov. Val has pulled over to the edge. Val is definitely out. Top 3 here are going through. I've got a feeling that the battle might come down to in between the two of the Olsberg's Ford cars behind at this rate.
Yeah, Nitish is definitely in the best position now. He's catched the 2 in the front and is just behind him, and he's done his Joker.
Markland absolutely monstered the curves there, took the curb and the bollards on the inside, the whole lot. He's managed to gap Timosyanov a little bit. Now Timosyanov is in danger possibly of falling back behind the Fords. Timosyanov, current European champion, double European champion, goes around the Joker lap 4 out of 6. He slots in behind the Olsberg's cars. He's now got to make up enough time that when Markland jokers, he slots in behind him.
Yeah, he needs to put in some good laps now to get in front of Markland.
2 laps to go, do you think he can do it?
Yeah, he showed some good speed during the day, so maybe he will do it.
Nitish and Baccarat going very, very well indeed for Ford Olsberg's MSC. VW Markland still leading this one. The gap isn't very much. Is it enough to take a Joker lap or not? 2 to go.
No, I don't think so. I think Nitish and Baccarat will be first and second in this. I think the fight is between Nitish now and... No, I mean...
between Timosyanov
and
Markland. So I don't think Baccarat's going to do anything stupid. They've already said, and Markland's gone to his Joker. Markland's gone to his Joker. He slots back out in front of Timosyanov. So Timosyanov, the top qualifier, is in danger of going out here. Only the top 3 go through to the final. Markland uses the curbs again. We're going to be looking now to see whether or not Timosyanov is going to make an aggressive move towards the end of this race, or even if he can get near enough to make an aggressive move. On board with Timmer now. What does he do, Eric?
No, it's very difficult to overtake, and it's only 1 lap to go, so I think the best place is now on a straight into the first corner.
On board with Timosyanov, his target is just in front. It's Markland. Markland goes defensive on the brakes. Timosyanov goes wide. Markland's right up behind the Ford, so he runs wide. Now, Timosyanov, contact up the inside, but Markland shuts the door in his face, sideways from Markland. That was a pretty brutal attempt by Timosyanov, but he's got to pass now if he wants to make it through. Markland under so much pressure, he's desperate to make a final. He was desperate to make one all last year when it was the European Championship. Now it's the World Championship. He'll be even more keen. Timosyanov's got one last chance on the gravel, this tightening right-hander. Nitish and Baccarat. Timosyanov's almost alongside Markland. There's nowhere to go here. It's super narrow. Over the line, Nitish and Baccarat are through. Markland holds on, and Timosyanov is dumped out. The champion is dumped out. He's not going to make it through to the final, and that is a big surprise. He won 2 of the heats and qualified in top position. The Peugeot Hansen driver is out. Derek Tohill crosses the line, on board now with Timosyanov. He's on the radio to the team, and he will be disappointed, Eric.
Yeah, I think he lost it in the start when he was second, and he was held up by Markland for a couple of laps.
Good drive by Markland, wasn't it? Here is the result overall. Reinis Nitish, championship points as well, don't forget, for these positions. Andreas Baccarat in second, Anton Markland third, and Timosyanov, Derek Tohill and Val, they will get some championship points, but they're going no further this weekend. Wow, what a first semi-final. Molly is down in the paddock, and I think she's with Nitish.
Reinis, unbelievably good strategy in the semi-final.
Yeah, it was perfect. I did really good start, and then lap by lap together with my teammate, I saw him in my mirror. But yeah, just unbelievable. First race in
in Supercar in the FIA World Rallycross Championship, and I won the semi-final. Just unbelievable.
Ready for the final?
I think I'm always ready, but there are a lot of strong drivers in final. We'll see. I try to do my best. Thank you.
Well, don't bet against Nitish, because he is absolutely a weapon in the final. Last year, 6 out of 9. That was where the two Olsberg's Fords went straight to the Joker lap. Markland with Timosyanov bottled up behind him. At one point, I thought Timosyanov was being held up, Eric, and then Markland broke away.
Yeah, and it looked like Timosyanov was first into the first corner, but somehow Markland passed him. And that's what we talked about. It's all about tactics. Markland did a good tactic this, and he's third, and he's into the final.
Perfect run by Markland. Of course, he got a big tap as well from Timosyanov on the last lap, but held off all that pressure. He's a very different young man this season. There it is. There's the tap from Timosyanov. The Polo is very, very strong indeed. We've seen a fair bit of contact out the first corner here in Portugal. No problem. And he goes through. Wow. Well, semi-final two's got quite a lot to live up to. The Monster Energy girls are down on the grid. Umbrellas are up this year for the sunshine, not for the rain, which makes a very, very pleasant difference indeed. Here's the grid for semi-final number 2. Petter Solberg on the front row. Alongside him is Topi Heikkinen. Row 2, Timmy Hansen and Cohen Powles. Powles has done a great job to get himself to this stage in the competition. And row 3, Ramona Carlson. She wanted to make the semi-finals and she did. And Andy Scott, we're not sure what condition his car's in. So Andy Scott, we think, is at the back of the pre-grid, and I know why he's heading to the grid. He's desperate to get a point for starting the race. If he doesn't start the race, he doesn't get the point. In fact, if he hadn't turned up to the pre-grid, they would replace him with the driver who was next in the standings, which in fact was Jos Janssen. So Andy Scott's at the back of the grid, but I think the car's got to make its own way to the grid under its own power. There it is. Not quite sure how it got there, and it is under its own power. The car is under its own power, so if Andy Scott can get this to the grid, he'll get a championship point. And this is the first time we've seen this. A little bit of tactics just to try and pick it up. On boards now, let's have a look at them. Topi Heikkinen having a chat with his spotter crew. We're up in the Ion Spotters Tower. They're looking over the track from here, and this is where they can call the driver's joke laps from. Andy Scott's trying to get to the grid. If you missed it earlier, he had a fire, quite a significant fire, so much so that he had to open the door on the car during his final heat race. He was really pleased to make the semis and then had to stop out on the circuit. They sent the fire engines and everything out to him. And now he's trying to get it onto the grid, and I don't think he's going to. He's creeping up to the back. I can't see this, Eric. He's in a condition to do a launch start, can you?
No, I don't think so.
That's it, that's it. They've just waved at him. He's not going to be able to take the start. There we go. Shrug of the shoulders from the officials. Scott is not going to take the start, so that's good for the people who are in this, because only 2 of them are not going to make it through. Which 3 are going to go up to the final? Solberg on the inside. Looks relaxed in the car, apparently suffers from great nerves. So it looks like we might have Jos Janssen. They might have put Jos Janssen in at the back of the grid. We'll see when we see them off the line. But here we go. It's the front runners we're looking to see. Petter Solberg and Topi Heikkinen on the run down to the first corner. Janssen has indeed been pushed up into the final. Solberg only on the brakes. Heikkinen goes straight for the joker lap. Powles has had to go with him. Ramona there looked like she got pushed out. I'm not sure. Timmy Hansen has gone on the main lap with Petter Solberg. Eric, what's your thoughts on the start?
Yeah, it looks like Timmy gave Ramona a little bit of a push, and she had to take the joker.
So 4 cars have joked on the first lap. We've got 6 laps to go. The 2 guys are out in front, but the only 2 have got to do it. And if they've got any sense, they'll just get their hammer down, try and make themselves a gap and be able to slot out in front of the traffic. Jos Janssen, I think, now is in front of Ramona Carlson, and Ramona's been ahead of him for most of the weekend. So I think she'll be held up by him. On board with Heikkinen. Heikkinen comes around in 3rd place. He'll be looking to close down the gap to Hansen and Solberg. Solberg on the handbrake down the end. You'll see 2 very different driving styles between the guys in 1st and 2nd place.
Yeah, Petter is always spectacular, and Timmy is more clean and more smooth.
You can see the onboard there. Solberg, so much steering input. He's never ever straight anywhere. Steering all with the car, and Hansen, I mean, he's adjusted his style on the gravel a little bit, Eric.
Yeah, he's adjusted himself a lot from last year here. So yeah, and that's what it's all about. He had 1 year experience now, and he needs to know.
That's Ramona Carlson. Ramona Carlson is off in the gravel. Whereabouts is that? I can't even tell right now. We're going to keep our eyes on the guys at the front instead. Petter Solberg. Joker exit, we're being told. So it sounds like Ramona is off at the Joker exit. So she is definitely out. So I think it's going to be probably Solberg, Hansen, Heikkinen. Not sure how far back Koen Pauwels is. He's not that far off the back, actually. We've seen a big increase in pace from Pauwels this weekend.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. He's now, maybe he can catch up Timmy.
So Timmy Hansen and Petter Solberg. Petter looking like he might be safe. Jansen's had a spin on the far side of the track, so he's definitely out of the running. This is between Pauwels and Hansen, probably, in terms of the Joker. Petter Solberg put new tyres on for Heat 4. I assume he's still on those now, but using the best of whatever he's got left. Takes that kind of diagonal defensive braking line across the straight.
Yeah, I think Timmy is now just trying to follow Petter and go as fast as he can. He's having his own race, and Toppy is obviously in a good position because he's done his Joker lap now.
So Toppy's almost certain to go through. This about whether or not Hansen can make enough of a gap on fourth place man Koen Pauwels when he takes the Joker lap, and he's going to have to do that in one of the next 2 laps. 6 lap semis and finals, of course. We've had 4 lap races all through the weekend in the heats. Solberg looks just so intense on board. I was talking to Per Espen, and I couldn't believe how nervous he said Petter gets.
No, but you're always nervous.
Even Solberg?
Yeah, I think so.
He wasn't very happy with his performance on day 1. He said he'd made some mistakes in Heat 1, even though he's been very, very quick all weekend. Because he tried desperately to get a victory last year and didn't manage it. Koen Pauwels now is being dropped off the back of these 3. I think the gap is increasing between him and Hansen. What do you think, Eric? They're going to have to Joker on this last lap.
Yeah, as I said, Timmy is now just following Solberg, trying to go as fast as he can, and it looks like he will make it.
Solberg then, over the start-finish line, down the straight, looking for Solberg to take the Joker lap, but more important than him is the man in 3rd place. Solberg moving the car around the brakes. Where's Hansen? Where's Hansen? We're waiting for Hansen.
Yeah, like
we've lost Hansen. Hansen has slowed down on the gravel section. We've lost Hansen, so he comes across the start-finish line now. I don't know what Timmy's done. He's still flat out. Away from our pictures then, Timmy Hansen is going to drop out of the semi-finals. Both the Peugeot Hansens have missed out when they looked like they were both going to go through. That is a bit of a shame for sure. Petter Solberg, though, is on his march towards another victory in the semi-finals. He will not relax until he wins, because he did this a couple of times last year, and he didn't take it right the way through to the checkered flag. But Solberg goes through to the final. 2nd place is Heikkinen, and 3rd place, we're waiting for them to make it to the line now. Timmy Hansen's up on the gravel section, he's not going to make it. Koen Pauwels crosses the line in 3rd place. Hansen is on the gravel, and I'm afraid this is the last time he'll be driving the 208 this weekend. He is out.
Yeah, of course, it's a bit of a disaster for Peugeot Hansen to not make it to the final with any of the cars. But I don't know really what happened to Timmy.
No, we didn't see, did we? We didn't, just disappeared. Timmy just disappeared. Hey, Jansen with a huge slide over the start-finish line. Well, on board with Heikkinen. Nice and relaxed, heading back into the paddock. These guys now don't have very long. Remember, the final is within half an hour. Basically, these cars will be back out again. They've got to refuel. They only have tiny little fuel tanks. On board with Heikkinen, heading back to the World RX paddock. That's where all the permanent teams are. Here's a look at the result then. Petter Solberg wins semi-final number 2 from Toppy Heikkinen. Koen Pauwels goes through in 3rd. Hansen, Jansen and Carlson are out. There's Andy Scott. He's heading back to his paddock area after he tried to get the car out. There was contact between Carlson and Jansen. Was it on the exit of the Joker lap?
Maybe it broke the steering on the Saab and she just went into the gravel.
Buried in the gravel on the side, and then Solberg on an absolute flyer. No problem for him. He took the win. The disappointment is for Peugeot Hansen. Well, there's Carlson's car being recovered. She'll be disappointed, but she has met her target of at least making it through to the semi-finals here in Portugal. Carlson then being dragged out backwards. That's a shame, Eric. It's not the ideal end to a weekend, is it?
No, I think she did a great run also here.
Yeah, I've been impressed, certainly, and not just with the car control, which is obviously important in a supercar, but the ability to race, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
She hasn't let anyone bully her. Anyway, there we are, on from the supercars. Looking forward to seeing the final later on. It's probably around 20 minutes away. Monster Energy girls are coming out onto the grid. And we're waiting now for the final for Super 1600. Still recovering Carlson's car, so this could be just a few minutes delay. Seen that a few times this weekend. Not too much damage really, Eric. I think everyone's had a pretty good run. I think the biggest problem's been preparation for all the teams in all the classes ahead of the season start.
Yeah, of course, it's the first race and everybody has some small problems, but they will sort it out as the events go on, I think.
Do you think it's a different approach this year? I mean, there's 12 events instead of 9. Are they able to take them all? I mean, they'll be disappointed if they have a bad event, but it's not as bad as having a bad event when there are only 9.
No, of course, they have more events to catch up again, so. But every point is very important.
Certainly is. That's why we saw Andy Scott drag the car up to the back of the grid in a desperate attempt to grab 1 point if he could. Didn't work out. They promoted Janssen, so it was a clever tactic. There's Ramona running back to the paddock. She's running a lap of the Joker lap in the wrong direction and getting a huge cheer from the Portuguese crowd. They're actually going nuts for Ramona running around the Joker lap. There you go. Fantastic reception for her here. Portuguese crowd absolutely love it. They really do. Anything is worth a cheer. Had someone fall over a wall, they cheered that. They've cheered broken down cars, they've cheered donuts, motorbikes doing wheelies. Ever so enthusiastic. Any time that motorsport comes to Portugal, you can expect a big turnout of fans, and we've got absolutely packed stands here at Montalegre, round 1 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship.
Inside Janssen, but he was a bit had a better line than me, so I smashed into him, and then I broke a steering arm, so I had to retire.
Fantastic.
Monster Energy girls are waiting on the grid.
My developing during this first start in the Supercar.
And we'll be up for the Super 1600 final very, very shortly indeed. The cars are lined up in the pre-grid. Looking forward to seeing the Pocket Rockets in action for the first time this year. The Monster Energy rig. All the fans up there. There is Val and Solberg. Thumbs up from them. Solberg, of course, will be looking forward to the final. I kind of hope he can win one. I really do. He tried so hard last year, Eric. What do you think? Fancy Petter's chances?
Yeah, I think he have a good chance to win here. He's been fast, all weekend. And now Tim Merson looked like he was the biggest threat, but now he's out, so I think Petter have a good chance.
Maybe a clear run for Petter, but maybe not. He broke the steering in Finland last year. He shunted off the start in Germany last year. He broke the transmission in Sweden last year. Every time he was challenging for a front position, and it just didn't go according to plan. So we'll have to wait and see whether Petter can do the business today. The Super 1600 drivers are waiting in very, very hot temperatures indeed. Which I think they're as keen as we are to get the racing underway. Just waiting for all the trucks to be clear of the track so that we can get them out and down that start straight. Looking at the RX lights here, they're coming up after Super 1600. That's a new class for this year. We'll tell you all about those when they're lining up on the grid. And now we're hearing the unmistakable engine noise of the Super 1600 cars doing a little bit of tyre cleaning. Eric, how important is a tyre cleaner in a Super 1600 car? They're hard to get off the line, aren't they?
Yeah, it's all about traction with its front-wheel drive, and yeah, of course it's more about cleaning tires. You don't get much heat, but of course it's just to get tires clean. It's important.
And that's something that's quite unique to Rallycross, isn't it? Because the tyres do come in covered in dirt. Sometimes the paddock is a gravel paddock. It's not like a race paddock, is it?
No, of course. But I think you only have allowed to do one cleaning, so it should be the same for everybody.
And it's enough, one clean, to clean the tyres or not?
Yeah, I think it's enough.
Here is the grid then. Zagimenov and Linneman on the front row. Misula and Bauminis on the second row. Shigabutinov and Veverka on the third. Zagimenov then is on the left-hand side in the Skoda Fabia, in the work Skoda colours. Linneman on the right in the Peugeot Tour 8. If you watched last year, then you'll know, you'll be very familiar with the colours of this car. He had a 207 in a similar colour scheme last year. He was third in 2013, won in UK and Sweden. He was having a good weekend. It didn't go according to plan in the final heat. We'll have a chat about that in a moment. In the meantime, let's get these guys underway. Zagimenov and Linneman then away from the front row. Behind them, Misulia will be trying to come through the middle. It's a great start for the Russian driver in the orange Fabia. Squeezes right through the middle. There was no gap there. And he tried to make himself one straight to the Joker lap. Fantastic start from Misulia. The crowd have gone nuts. 4 cars have gone around the Joker lap. And the 2 front row drivers, Zagimenov and Linneman, have gone straight for the normal lap.
Yeah, great move by Misulia. I thought he was going for the normal track, but then he just went in the middle of them and raced straight into the Joker.
And yeah, that's probably a sensible move, isn't it, when he was sandwiched between the 2?
Yeah, of course. It would have been some contact and maybe some car would have stopped there.
Very, very clear head for the Russian driver, who's relatively new to Rallycross. He's in 3rd place right now in the orange Fabia. You're seeing Zagimenov and Linneman coming over the line now. Zagimenov won the first heat, Linneman won heats 2 and 3, but he had a DNF in heat 4.
Yeah, he stopped on the track. I don't know what happened, but I think it will be between these 2 guys.
Misulia is holding up a train of cars behind him. Very promising driver. He won a Lada one-race championship, the Lada Grande Cup. And the prize is actually a drive in the World Touring Car Championship in Russia. So he'll be going up against the likes of Sebastian Loeb and the minds of the Work Citroen team in World Touring Cars. He's so enthusiastic, Eric.
Yeah, he's very spectacular. You know, he pushes it to the limit, always.
Up and over the curbs in the Super 1600s. They don't carry the curbs quite as well as the Supercars do. No problem. Through the chicane, down the start, finish straight. That train of cars behind. Interested to see if anyone feels brave enough. Shigabutinov is at the back. Vaverka just in front. Balmanis in front of him. Oh, Shigabutinov having a look at Vaverka, and Shigabutinov makes the pass on Vaverka. Good job. Vaverka runs really wide in the 206. And that's him dropped to the back of the grid. So Shigabutinov on the move. Up next is Balmanis, who is in another set promotion car, I think. So we won't want to run him off the road. Not strictly teammates really in Super 1600, they just run from the same preparation company.
Yeah, of course. And it's really tight, as you know, it's very tight on the time, so there's always a lot of action.
Eric, last year you where were you here? You were 2nd in Portugal last year.
Yeah.
Well, what was the secret to a decent race time here, or to the final here? I mean, it's a tricky track.
Yeah, I think it's the gravel section, and especially the front-wheel drive cars is quite different to drive. It's a lot of understeering, so you need to be very committed on the gravel section.
And the gravel section changes a lot here through the week, and we can see there, can't we, as we look into this corner, how much tarmac has appeared on the entry.
Yeah, it's almost like one line, and you know, it's a bit different for the supercars. The four-wheel drive are sliding more, so it's different every time you go out.
And now, last night we saw a clean line. They've brought the grader out 3 times today and dragged the gravel back in again, and then wet gravel as well, and that causes its own issues too.
Yeah, because normally it gets like a hole to just drive in.
It was interesting earlier on, talking to Timmy Hansen, saying that the track has got much, much bumpier. He didn't know whether to change the settings on the car or to wait for it to clean again, for the gravel to be pushed out and for the car to come back to him. But either way, he has made it through to the final. So we're not going to see Zagimenov. Oh, Linneman up on 2 wheels on the far side of the track, out of the commentary box position. Wow. Everybody being really aggressive on the curbs. And Eric, you said we've seen cars pitched over here just by clipping the curb.
Yeah, I think the curbs are very high here and difficult to drive and just unstabilize the car. So I think you should stay off them in some places, and some places you need to attack them.
Zagimenov is leading this one from Linneman. We're on the final lap. Those 2 guys are both going into the Joker lap now. This is what's going to decide who wins this race. I'm convinced that Zagimenov has got enough time. Linneman, those run wide in the Joker lap. Linneman's been dropped. Linneman dropped from 2nd down to 4th place. Great drive by Zagimenov. What did Linneman do wrong?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit too fast into the Joker. It was almost out in the gravel. So we lost some time there.
Unlucky then for Linneman. He's had a pretty decent weekend, as I say. Won 2 heats, heat 2 and heat 3. Bit of understeer for Zagimenov, but it won't matter. He's under no threat whatsoever. He's going to win this one. First round of Super 1600s goes to Zagimenov. 2nd is Misulia. 3rd is Balmanis. Well, pretty typical Super 1600 final. Here is the result. Zagimedov from Misulia, Baumanis, Lederman, who lost it on the final lap, Shigabutinov and Viverka. Wonderful. Now you can see the points this year. 8 points for a final win. Last year it was 6, and that's to give a little bit more emphasis on those who take the risks and take the win in the final. Zagimedov really didn't need to take any risks at all, Eric. Brilliant start, never challenged.
Yeah, he had a very clean race. And he's been fast all weekend, so I think he knew that if he got the start, then he probably would have made it, would have finished first.
That's a good look at the view from up here at the circuit, just above Montalegre. There are the championship points after round 1. Zagimedov in first, Misulia in third, Shigabutinov, in third. Well, we've got a new class this year. The class is called RX Lights. Let's have a little look at what it's all about. Well, we'll have a look in a minute. RX Lights, the new one-make championship. Space frame chassis, engine in the back, 4-wheel drive, about half the power of a supercar, and they're coming up next. So a cup this year, a series. The winner of the series gets a drive in a supercar at the end of the championship in Argentina, so it's a decent prize, and the cars are all very, very equally matched. They've produced some fantastic racing all weekend. There's your pole man, Ericsson. Been strong all weekend. Let's have a look at what RX Lights are all about. Here's the grid for RX Lights. First time we've seen these in support, of course, of Rallycross RX. And this will be a fantastic race, I promise you. Sebastian Eriksson and Richard Goranson on the front row. Row 2, Jigid Timmer and Kevin Eriksson. And row 3, Daniel Holton and Alex Westland. Drivers at the ready. Eric, you've driven a light. Do they have a launch control system?
Yeah, they have a launch control system, but they're almost on full throttle because there's a lot of grip in the car. It's 4-wheel drive, and the power is not as much as a supercar, obviously. So it's a lot of grip, so you need to have very high RPM in the start.
And then feather the clutch or dump it?
Yeah, you should try to just be slow on the clutch.
So there we go, away from the line. Let's see who gets the best start. And it is very definitely the pole man, Ericsson. He's got the inside line. No one's challenging him. You can see how closely matched the cars are. Jinkat's the right contact at the back there. Yitik Timur, the Turkish car, looks like he's been hit twice. He's sitting in second place, but it's Sebastian Eriksson who leads textbook.
Yeah, Kevin Eriksson in third now. He made a late decision to go on the inside, and Goranson had to go on the yoke lap.
Kevin Eriksson, who's sitting in third, is the RX Lights test driver. He's done so much running in these cars in America, over here in Europe. He's doing the Swedish Championship. Every time these cars are running anywhere in the world this year, Kevin Eriksson in third is going to be at the wheel of one of them, so we can expect him to be quite strong. But it's the other Eriksson, Sebastian, who's leading this race at the minute. But Sebastian Eriksson, Eric, you were telling me he comes from a background of folk race. So explain to people what folk race is all about.
Yeah, it's like a budget rallycross series in Sweden with very cheap cars, and yeah, it's a good development as a young driver to get into the sport, I would say.
But he's done, I mean, whatever he's learned there is put him in good stead here. He's miles in front already, 5 or 6 car lengths over Timur.
Yeah, of course, it's good for learning, and they get to drive a lot, and that's very important.
You get Timur, who is in second place, the Turkish driver, Avitas, who are the company, the engineering company who helped make these RX lights. They're based out in Turkey. Their facility is right next to the track which we'll be at later on this year with World RX. So looking forward to seeing the lights, producing decent racing. And now that's Kevin Eriksson then has decided he's being held up by Timur.
Yeah, he's going for Joker.
Is he going to slot back out in time? Kevin Eriksson comes out just in front. Great job by him. Fantastic move.
Yeah, good tactics there. And he goes in before Göransson.
So out front we have Sebastian Eriksson, second place. You get Timur. Neither of those guys has jokered yet. I think that Kevin Eriksson, who we're seeing here, although he's a bit untidy through that section, is going to make up some time and might be able to get the jump on Timur, but I'm not convinced he'll be able to get to Sebastian.
No, but he's in a good position because he's already on the podium and he's done his joker lap and the two in front hasn't.
So no extra pressure. He knows he's going to be standing up on the podium at the end of the day. 2 laps to go in lights. They've driven these cars, Eric. Good fun?
Yeah, really good fun. You know, it's a lot of grip and a lot of traction, and yeah, maybe you want more power when you drive it, but it's great on the gravel sections.
Now, this morning, and in fact, in free practice on the first day, we actually saw the 2 Erikssons up in amongst the supercars, 7th and 8th fastest in free practice. How can you do that in a car that hasn't got as much power?
I think it's all about the gravel, because they put the gravel back, and of course in the morning it's so slippery, and they have a lot of traction in these cars. The traction and the power is perfect for the gravel sections.
Great fun for these guys then. Sebastian Eriksson and Timur. Oh! Up the inside there.
It's Holton.
Holton making a move. Holton has come from Supercars and Super 1600.
Yeah.
So Eriksson now, Eriksson number 2, Kevin Eriksson has caught back up to Timur, who still hasn't taken his joker lap. So he's now being held up over a second time, but we absolutely know that he's going to get the jump on him.
Yeah.
I wonder if Sebastian Eriksson is far enough ahead. Have a look, Eric, as they come past commentary. I think Sebastian's going to be able to get through the joker and back out easily in front.
Yeah, I think Sebastian has this under control.
So watching the leader now, the leader should be going to the joker lap. There he goes, Sebastian Eriksson in second place at the minute as you get Timur, and he's going to have to take the joker lap as well. He has gone, and that promotes Kevin Eriksson up into second place. And in fact, Timur drops down. Oh, he's alongside. Timur's having a great battle at the back there. He's alongside. Is that Holton?
Yeah, it's Holton.
Alongside Holton. Sideways for Timur. Big tank slapper. Wheels in the air up over the curbs. Manages to hold on to it. Great fight here between these two. Desperate to hang on to his place. Oh, and up the inside. He's having a look. Holton. Contact between those two. Sideways again. Are we going to see this all year? But here's the winner. Over the line. Sebastian Eriksson takes the win from Kevin Eriksson. And in third place, Richard Göransson. Göransson, more familiar with circuit racing. He's also done a bit of rallying. He did Rally Sweden. Fantastic, fantastic race. Very, very close indeed. Let's have a look at the result. Sebastian Eriksson then in first, Kevin Eriksson in second, and Göransson in third. 8 points for the winner, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for those from second down to sixth. Interesting choice from Holton to go from supercars to a bit of a go in these lights, but I think we can see how fantastic the racing is. It's good fun and it's decent budget, Eric.
Yeah, and that's the type of racing we see now. It's very tight and a lot of action with all the cars are the same, so it's up to the driver. So you see they're fighting every lap.
Using all the curve as well. These cars very, very strong. Specific space frame chassis, we said earlier. They really, really are great pieces of kit. That was the move there from Holton on Westland, I think. Up and over the crest, away into the distance. Had some fantastic angles this weekend that have really seen the ups and downs of the track here at Montalegre. It's a beautiful, beautiful rallycross track in a wonderful area of Portugal. The view from the commentary box here into the distance is absolutely stunning. Brilliant weekend so far. It's just the one event left to come that we're all looking forward to. Here's the championship standings for RX Lights after round one. Sebastian Eriksson in first, Göransson is in second, and Daniel Holton is in third. Points, of course, for provisional classification, which is after the heats, and also for the final. So it's not just about your position in the final. Sun is shining. The heat is building and the pressure is building too, because there's just the one important race to come, and that is, of course, the supercars. They're lining up now to come onto the start line. You can hear them doing practice starts in the distance. There's Alex Wahl in the crowd, looking down at his teammate Petter Solberg. Petter running one car. There's Pernilla. She's up here in the spotters tower with us. She will be desperate. I was with Pernilla on the roof of the truck in Austria last year, and she was so upset when it went wrong for Petter yet again. But here he is on pole with Reinis Nitish alongside him. Don't bet against Nitish. 6 times a winner last year in Super 1600. Topi Heikkinen and Andreas Backerud. Backerud twice a winner last year, Sweden and France. On the back row, Anton Markland and Con Pauls. Both those guys have upped their pace this year. Fantastic prospect of a race. Solberg on the inside. Last year he stalled on the line in one of the finals. I feel nervous for Solberg myself.
Yeah, we have 2 aggressive drivers with Heikkinen and Backerud in the second row, so I think they will be aggressive into the first corner, because they know if Solberg gets away, then he's very fast.
So they'll need to pass him immediately, won't they? Will get some very, very clever tactics going on. Heikkinen on the handbrake, he's flicked the anti-lag already, the car's in gear. Here we go, Solberg on the front row is the man to watch away. Backerud with a fantastic start, Solberg not quite so good. Heikkinen alongside Solberg now pulling clear, so Solberg with a not great start, still manages to make it down to turn 1 well. Both the Olsberg's MSC Fords have gone into the Joker lap immediately with Pauls on the outside. The Pauls drop back to the back. The 2 VW Marklands are in second and third. It's Petter from Heikkinen and then Markland.
Yeah, and Backerud passed Nitish into the Joker lap, so he's first of the
Olsberg's MSC cars, yeah, the 3 that have taken the Joker.
Yeah.
Interesting tactics again. Backerud actually said to us earlier this weekend, if we make the final, we won't both Joker together, definitely.
Yeah, but maybe it's like, you know, they can have some tactics, but you can never know what happens in the first corner.
There was a great quote, wasn't there, last year from Tanner Faust. I can't remember, it was a boxer that said it, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, and that's kind of what happened there, I think, down at turn 1. Solberg, though, is the man to watch. He was desperate to win last year. If he wins, you will see celebrations unlike we've seen so far in Rallycross, I'm sure. He was the World Rally Champion in 2003, and he could stand to win the first ever round of the World Rallycross Championship in 2014. Solberg leading from Topi. Topi's right behind him. How late is he going to leave it to do his Joker lap? I think as late as possible, Eric.
Yeah, I think so.
There's nobody slow here, is there? There's not really a traffic issue to slot back into, so you just want the biggest gap possible?
Yeah, you will never be held up, but I think he will go. You know, he's have a clear track, and if he goes to Joker earlier, he might be behind someone, and it's never good.
Solberg through the hairpin and away again. Looking in the background, I think the Olsberg's MSC cars might just have changed places, hard to tell. Topi is still in second, Markland is in third. It's Backerud now from Nitish. So same positions they were in before, no change of position for those 2. Topi Heikkinen, champion of Rallycross, of course, over in America, now coming across to World RX. And a fantastic result for him all weekend, really. Topi's been on the pace, but no one's been able to match Petter when he's been on it, and the car's only got to last 3 more laps. There was a look at Pernilla leaning out the spotters tower. Long right-hander, away again for Petter. There's a big gap opening up, Eric. I'm desperate to say he's going to win, but every time I said it last year, he broke the car.
Yeah, we saw last year that it's never over until the finish line, so...
He was leading in Finland, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Broke the steering. He broke the steering in Finland when he was in the lead, literally with 2 laps to go. It's a 6-lap final. Look at Solberg. You know what he's thinking in that car. He's desperate to do it. He's got 2 laps to go. Still the big Solberg inputs. Pulling on the gear stick. The car's so quick to change gears, so fast down the straight.
I think he learned from last year a bit, so he's not attacking 110% now. He's a bit under 100%.
Into the Joker lap go Topi and Anton Markland as well. They're going to slot back out, I think, behind the Fords. They are all very, very close between Nitish and Topi, but the Fords have made it up into second and third.
Yeah, that's the advantage they have when they take the Joker on the first lap, because the first lap is always slowest on the normal track.
Lap 5 of 6, yeah, got great tactics by them. They've managed to make it. Oh, Topi giving a push there to Nitish. Topi giving a push to Nitish. VW be disappointed. They were sitting second and third. 1 lap to go. Petter Solberg crosses the start finish line. He's going to go to his Joker now. Petter Solberg is at the end of the straight. We're watching the battle further back, but Petter Solberg is going around the Joker lap. We're going to see, is he going to slot back in the lead? He is going to slot back in the lead. Petter Solberg leads the first ever round of the World Rallycross Championship by a significant margin. Surely it can't go wrong now.
No, you just need to be careful now in the last gravel section.
over the curbs. Petter is tidier than normal. He's been riding them all last year. He broke the car so many times. He's just got 2 turns to go. Even I'm desperate for him to make it. Pinilla's up here in the spotters tower. This is going to be very emotional if he does it. He is going to do it. The 2003 World Rally Champion is the first man to win a round of the World Rallycross Championship. Solberg wins in Portugal. Bakarud in second and Nitish in third. All last year he tried to do it. Finally this year he's managed it. He can't get out of the car fast enough. What are we going to see from Solberg? He's run himself over before when celebrating. Let's hope he doesn't do anything too stupid. He's over the moon. He's standing up to the classic Petter drive down the road, standing on the side of the car, waving at the Portuguese crowd. They're going nuts for him down in the grandstands at the far end. Brilliant, brilliant job by Petter Solberg. He won the Heat 3 and Heat 4. He won his semi-final, he goes through, and he's finally won a final, and it's when we went World Championship.
Yeah, I think, as I said, he learned a lot from last year, and now he was a bit more careful when he was in the lead.
Petter climbing back into the car. Job finally done. All last year, he was trying it, he's finally done it. He did say, every time we spoke to him, he said, oh, last year was testing, but if you were here and you saw the look on his face, you would know how disappointed he was to lose. So I know how much it will mean to him to win. I say there were tears on the top of the motorhome when it went wrong last year. There'll be tears of joy this time. Petter Solberg takes the win in Portugal, the first ever FIA World Rallycross Championship round, and it's Petter on the top step of the podium. Bakarud in second and Nitish in third. Fantastic job by the 2 Ford Olsberg's MSC drivers, the last 2 years Super 1600 champions. Toppy, Anton and Con Powell's making up the rest of the final. Brilliant. Not so much action in the final as we saw in the semis, but, you know, great job.
Yeah, of course. But that's what I said. If Solberg takes the start, then I think he will fly away.
He did indeed. There he is up on the gravel section. There isn't even a grandstand over there, and he's still waving, but he'll be waving to the ones which are stood up by the start area. There it is. He's coming back towards the start-finish. Ever the showman. His nickname's been Hollywood for years, and he's never chosen to use it until this year. The truck is covered in Hollywood. There's references to Hollywood. Making the most of the show that is Rallycross. Fantastic drive. He's jumping up and down on the roof. Petter Solberg jumping up and down on the roof of his car. There he is. He'll need a new roof panel, he won't care. Arms in the air, the crowd are going absolutely mental. And so is Petter. It'll be beer o'clock in his awning tonight. Here is a replay. Straight down the inside. It wasn't the best of starts, Eric, but he dragged it out down to turn 1.
Yeah, he's had the same trouble, I think, the whole weekend. He's not very quick off the line, but it's first out to the first corner. That's the most important.
So great job by him down to turn 1. There you can see the 2 Ford Olsberg's MSC cars going straight to the Joker lap. They then managed to make up quite a lot of time. Toppy didn't really challenge Petter. Behind him was Anton Markland. And they just lost a little bit too much time somehow, and they got overlapped by the Fords. There they are, slotting in front. Very, very close, wasn't it, between Nitish and Toppy?
Yeah. Good tactics by the Ford team to take them on the Joker lap in the first, as they are now second and third. So great result for them.
There's Petter. Fantastic. Bit of a handbrake, spin the car back round. Wonderful car control. Very, very evident there. He's driving past commentary right now and heading down to the exit. The roof is completely bowed in. We can see from where he's just driven past us. He's wrecked the roof of the car, but he really won't mind. The marshals are all out to greet him. Brilliant job, Petter Solberg. Congratulations. An adoring crowd. But this is what it's all about, the World Championship standings. Petter Solberg is on the top. Reinis Nitish in second, Toppy Heikkinen third, Bakarud fourth. Current champion of Europe, Timosyanov is fifth, Markland sixth. There are the standings for the teams. Ford Olsberg's MSC ahead of VW, PSRX and Team Peugeot, Hansen, Albatec and Monster Energy World RX with not a great weekend, but I'm sure they'll recover. Back into the holding paddock for Petter. There is the podium. He's been wanting to stand on the top step of it. Finally he gets to. Brilliant job by the whole team. I know how nervous they'll have been because they came so close so many times last year. There's Pernilla in the white shirt. Carnage down in the holding area, but soon they'll get to stand on the podium and take the rewards for all that hard work last year. There's the crowd gathering at the podium. Eric, great feeling, the winning feeling.
Yeah, great feeling. And as you said, last year was a test for him, but you know, he's been waiting for this for the whole last year, and now to start with a victory is all, of course, is perfect.
There were quite a lot of excuses last year, weren't there, where things didn't quite go according to plan. I mean, what's your take on it?
I don't have a word, to be honest with you.
Fantastic final.
I've been waiting for so long. Fair and square fight, and this victory, that goes to my mechanics. They're working flat out. Ole have been my closest guy. Keddy, Rune, everybody, and my wife Pernilla. Fantastic. So I'm so happy.
There we are, Peter Solberg grabbing the interview crew immediately, got out of the car. So excited to have won. Yeah, a few excuses last year. Was he too hard on the car, or you know, this year has he got a better car? Is it? I think he's just learned rallycross.
Yeah, he's learned rallycross, and of course he's learned how to build the car. They made some improvements on the car also. So,
crowd are making their way down to the podium area, filtering out. We are alone on the spotters tower. There were loads and loads of team members up here alongside us just very shortly ago. It's now just me and Eric Fahren stood in commentary. And it's been a great weekend, I think, of action, Eric. Very different to last year's Portugal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a great start of the new World Championship, I think.
Certainly has. If you have a look at Peter's car there in that shot, you can see how stoved in the roof is from where he was jumping up and down. It was like a trampoline. He was so excited. The Monster Energy podium awaits. And, of course, also the Monster Energy Supercharge Award for whoever it was into turn one first. I have no idea who it was, because it was all far too exciting. I suspect it will be whoever took the Joker lap on the first lap. So probably Bakkerud, maybe?
Yeah, maybe Bakkerud.
Maybe Bakkerud for the Monster Energy Supercharge Award. Yeah! It says it all, really, doesn't it? So waiting for the top three to get up onto the podium. Peter Solberg, Andreas Bakkerud and Reinis Nittis shortly to pick up their trophies. So Monster Energy Supercharge Award. Then we're going to have a little replay and have a look and see who did make it first into the first corner. Now last year this was judged at a line across the track, which meant that if you took the Joker lap, oh my goodness me, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think it's Bakkerud.
You think Bakkerud?
Yeah.
We think Bakkerud, we're not sure.
No.
It's very hard to tell from where we are, but that's a great replay at the start. Monster Energy Supercharge, if you're new to Rallycross, as we say, is the first person into the first corner. Sometimes that can be very clear cut, but here where there's a Joker lap, much faster down the outside. We'll let you know later, I'm sure. Great start to the World Rallycross Championship. 11 rounds still to go. Lyddon Hill is up next. The birthplace of Rallycross in 3 weeks' time, 24th and 25th of May. If you're in the UK, I would advise you to buy yourself some tickets and get down there. It's my local track in the southeast of England. And the first sport I went and watched as motorsport was Rallycross, in fact, up at Brands Hatch. So we're very lucky. We're blessed with a couple of decent circuits in the southeast of England. And if we have a weekend's action, anything like we've had here in Portugal, it'll be well worth it. There's Reinis Nittis up on the podium with the Latvian flag. He arrived on day one, he spotted the Latvian flag wasn't being flown. The organisers put loads of different flags up, so I want the Latvian flag, which is fair enough. So they went and put the Latvian flag up for him. He brought one with him especially. Bakkerud on the second step of the podium. Baby Blue, which was his nickname, but Peter Solberg on the top step. I think even Bakkerud and Nittis are pleased for him.
Yeah, of course. we all saw him last year when he almost got the victory. So.
And last year, of course, Bakker had pipped him, didn't he? Well, he was chasing Bakker, but his transmission broke in Sweden, and then in France, Bakker had nicked the place off him towards the end of the final. Sure, Petter will be very pleased that it's around the other way this time.
And now the prize to the second classifier, Andreas Bakker. He is presented by
Bakker with his fan club's flag up there. There are the trophies, very nice they are too. And a carbon fibre base, carbon fibre front too, very nice to sport. You can see Bakker's fans jumping up down, massive, massive crowd down the podium. There'll be a big cheer for this.
And now we have the
Petter Solberg picks up the trophy for first place.
For Andreas Bakker, presented by James Gilbert of Monster Energy. James Gilbert from the Monster Energy.
There's James Gilbert from Monster Energy. And we were right. It was Bakker. And he'll be very pleased indeed to have picked up another Supercharge award. Last year it was a huge Rhino's Head. It's a cracking award. Very Monster Energy. Backwards always pleased, isn't he? Even if it's not going well, he's relatively pleased.
Yeah, of course. And I think he's very happy with second here.
Yeah, it's a great start to the championship for him and Rainis and the Ford team in particular.
Yeah, of course. And Rainis as a rookie in third place, that's just great.
Brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. And it proves the step from Super 1600 to Supercar is very much a doable one.
Yeah, of course.
Champagne shower for Solberg. Great result. Petter Solberg, winner of the first round of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Andreas Bakker second, Rainis Nettish third. My thanks to Eric Farren for being alongside me and Molly down in the pits all weekend. We've had a great weekend of action. We hope you've enjoyed it at home and will stick with us for the rest of the championship season. Here's how it went in Portugal. Val struggled with his starts all weekend, but my goodness, he's been quick. Petter was telling us today that he thinks Val's car is better than his, even though it's last year's car. Timas Janov qualified in first with 2 heat wins, a second and a third. Bakker, one-armed push-ups, one of his party tricks. He was having a competition today somewhere in the paddock to see who could do the most. Really is a showman. Solberg with that spectacular sideways style that last year a lot of people said he wouldn't win with it, and there was definitely times where he wore his tyres out doing it. But this year, at the first round, he's got the job done. Markland in the hairpin, big improvement in his pace this weekend. That was Ramona Carlson being dumped off into the gravel. This was the Spurs semi-final earlier on this afternoon. That was Ramona running back in front of the Portuguese fans to a big cheer. Super 1600s, good final between them. Zaki Menov, I think it was, who took the win. As always, the rally-based front-wheel drive machines producing a good final. And then in lights, new category for this year, another one-make championship. Sebastian Eriksson from Kevin Eriksson. Goranson in third. Plenty of contact, not really supposed to have contact, but it did make for some good racing, and we'll expect to see more of that as the season goes on. In the RX Lights Cup. But the crowd and the teammates were all waiting for this. It wasn't a brilliant start from Solberg, but the rest of the race went according to plan. No one got near him. He took the win that he's been so desperate for a year, and he celebrated in style in front of the Portuguese fans, clambering out the car. Great job by him. He's the leader of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. We hope you'll join us for the other rounds. Next up is Lyden in 3 weeks' time.